Hey there, fashion enthusiasts. Today we're going to dive into the dark history of the fashion industry. For centuries, the fashion industry has exploited workers and the environment to produce the latest trends and runway looks. But fear not. I'm here to explore sustainable fashion, which is a counter to these issues. Now, I know discussing heavy topics like exploitation and environmental destruction can be a bit dry and boring. But not to worry, folks. I'm going to sprinkle in some humor to keep you entertained throughout the video. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the world of sustainable fashion together. And, if you want to stay updated on the latest fashion industry news and sustainable fashion trends, hit that subscribe button below. The fashion industry. Glamorous, chic, and oh so stylish. But did you know that behind the runway and the latest trends lies a dark history of exploitation? For decades, workers in the fashion industry have been subjected to long hours, low wages, and dangerous working conditions. And unfortunately, it's still happening today. Sweatshops and child labor are still prevalent in the industry, as companies strive to meet the demand for cheaper and faster production. But at what cost? Vulnerable workers, particularly in developing countries, are being taken advantage of, all in the name of fashion. It's not just a few bad apples, either. Some of the biggest names in the industry have been caught exploiting workers. And while some have made efforts to improve their practices, there's still a long way to go. It's time for us as consumers to take a stand. We can choose to support companies that prioritize ethical production and fair labor practices. By doing so, we can help make a difference in the lives of those who make our clothes. So the next time you're tempted by that bargain bin tee or that fast fashion dress, remember the true cost of what you're buying. And let's work together to demand change in the fashion industry. Now let's take a closer look at the impact of fast fashion on the environment. It's no secret that the fashion industry is one of the biggest contributors to environmental degradation. From the production process to the disposal of clothing, the industry has a significant impact on the planet. Every year, billions of garments are produced, with the majority ending up in landfills or incinerators. The production process itself is also incredibly resource-intensive, with large amounts of water and energy used in the manufacturing of clothing. The concept of throwaway culture is a term used to describe our society's tendency to dispose of items quickly and without consideration for the environment. Unfortunately, the fashion industry perpetuates this culture by constantly promoting new trends and encouraging consumers to buy more. And it's not just the consumers who are at fault. Many clothing companies have been caught polluting the environment through their production processes. From toxic chemicals in the dyeing process to the dumping of waste into rivers and oceans, the fashion industry has a long way to go in terms of sustainability. But there is hope. Some companies are beginning to take responsibility for their impact on the environment and are making changes to their production processes. By choosing to support these companies, we can all play a role in reducing the negative impact of fast fashion on the environment. As we continue our exploration of sustainable fashion, let's take a closer look at how this concept is being implemented by some of the world's leading fashion companies. In recent years, we've seen a growing trend towards sustainable and ethical fashion, with companies taking steps to reduce their carbon footprint and promote fair labor practices. From using organic and recycled materials to investing in renewable energy, these companies are leading the way towards a more sustainable future. But sustainable fashion isn't just good for the environment, it's also good for workers. By promoting fair labor practices and investing in the well-being of their employees, these companies are helping to create a more equitable and just fashion industry. So who are some of these trailblazing companies? Well, we have companies like Patagonia, who have been at the forefront of sustainable fashion for decades. They've implemented a number of innovative sustainability initiatives, including using recycled materials in their clothing and investing in renewable energy. Another company leading the way is Stella McCartney, who has made sustainability a core part of her brand since the very beginning. From using vegan leather to implementing a zero-waste policy in her stores, McCartney is a true pioneer of sustainable fashion. And let's not forget about Eileen Fisher, who has been a vocal advocate for sustainable fashion for years. They've implemented a number of sustainability initiatives, from using organic cotton to recycling fabrics and promoting fair labor practices. These companies are just a few examples of the many fashion brands that are taking steps towards sustainability. By prioritizing the well-being of workers and the environment, they're helping to create a more sustainable and just fashion industry for all. Now that we've talked about the impact of fast fashion, let's dive into how you can make more ethical choices when it comes to fashion. First and foremost, it's important to research brands before purchasing from them. Many big companies have been called out for unethical practices, from using sweatshops to polluting the environment. By doing a little research, you can support brands that align with your values and avoid those that don't. But what about when you're on a budget? That's where buying second-hand or vintage clothing comes in. Not only is it more sustainable to give old clothes new life, but it's often much cheaper than buying new. Plus, you can find unique pieces that no one else will have. And don't forget about sustainable fashion choices beyond just the clothes themselves. Consider the materials used in your accessories and shoes, and try to opt for eco-friendly options. You can also prolong the life of your clothes by taking good care of them, such as washing them on cold and air-drying them. Making ethical fashion choices may seem overwhelming at first, but it's all about taking small steps in the right direction. By being mindful of your purchases and doing a little research, you can help make a positive impact on the planet and the people who make our clothes. We've covered a lot of ground today, but let's recap the main points. The fashion industry often exploits workers and harms the environment. Sustainable fashion, on the other hand, focuses on ethical practices and reducing waste. As consumers, we can make a difference by choosing more conscious brands and being mindful of our own consumption. But it's not just about making ethical choices. Supporting sustainable fashion is crucial for the future of our planet. By reducing our carbon footprint and promoting fair labor practices, we can help create a more just and sustainable world. I want to thank you all for watching and taking the time to learn about this important topic. But this is just the beginning. We can all take action by supporting sustainable fashion and encouraging others to do the same. And with that, we're coming to the end of our video. But don't worry, there's still more to come. In the next segment, we'll be exploring the innovative ways that sustainable fashion is changing the industry. So stay tuned and keep supporting ethical fashion.